This is Eric J coming at you with street news. No, we ain't professional and neither is this story. 33-year-old Kashana Thomas was sentenced to 65 years in prison after she was found guilty of murdering her 11-year-old daughter and stuffing her body in a freezer. So look, according to the reports, a few days after authorities issued a missing child alert for 11-year-old Janiyah, a relative called 911 and said, "I found a small body in a freezer that Kashana dropped off at my house. Inside the freezer, Janiyah was tied up and it looked as if she was starved to death." After further investigation, it is believed that Janiyah was beaten and tied up and then drowned in a bathtub. Janiyah's brothers and sisters said that they seen her lifeless body on the bathroom floor. Janiyah was later stuffed inside of a box and put into a freezer in the family living room. Documents released by the county sheriff office show that child welfare investigators visited the home of Kashana over 10 times on allegations of her abusing her children. One report was for her beating her child with an electrical cord, and another one was for her burning her child with bleach. It was noted that the child was burned so bad that her skin was discolored, and another child in the home was found with over 22 scars. But despite the evidence of abuse, investigators wrote in their reports that the children were not in danger. One of Janiyah's siblings told investigators that my mom would punish Janiyah for wetting herself. She would leave her in the bathroom for a long time. She would leave her there for a week or so. She would have to eat and sleep in the bathroom. My mom would sleep by the door to catch her if she tried to sneak out. Last year for her birthday, she was locked in the bathroom all day. My mom beat her and hit her with a belt. The house that Kashana and her children were living in was filled with trash and infested with roaches, rats, and maggots.
Thomas, a single mother of 4 with a child on the way, now sits in a jail charged with desecrating her daughter's corpse.
I would think that 15 years is too much. It's too much. I mean, even after not even 1 year, I mean, after a couple of months, a couple of weeks, to get a child out of a situation, we can't do it fast enough.
The new report shows Janiyah's siblings bore much of the brunt of the abuse. In 2004, one child told investigators Thomas choked her and threw her on the floor. She was beaten every day, possibly because the mother does not want to care for her, according to the report. All of this taking place in a home full of maggots, rats, and roaches. And just last month, another sibling claims he was punched in the mouth, head, and face. That investigation finally led deputies to Janiyah's body when she wasn't accounted for in the home.
It's like you know and then you don't want to know.
Beverly Bell helped raise Kashana when she was around Janiyah's age, after Kashana was also taken from her mother. Bell says the family history shows 3 generations of abuse that no one, not even her, put a stop to.
I wish I would have done it here.
The final report concludes that Kashana has been on their radar for 15 years with threats of violence against her children and physical abuse. Despite the history, investigators say that they followed all of the protocols in this case.
If someone would have gotten there faster, maybe she would be alive today. But I can't blame anybody.
It's a letter to a Manatee County judge from one of the siblings of Janiyah Thomas saying they really wanted to make sure that the judge knew the truth about what happened to their sister. And I have to warn you, some of the details of the letter can be difficult to hear. The letter to the judge from one of Janiyah Thomas's siblings is a heartbreaking account of repeated abuse of Janiyah at the hands of her own mother. Times when Janiyah was tied up, her head dunked in nasty bath and toilet water. Times when Janiyah was starved, and if she escaped, she'd go digging through her neighbor's trash cans for food. But most heartbreaking of all, the time they saw their little sister's emaciated body lying lifeless on the bathroom floor. And after calling out to her, the realization that their little sister, Janiyah, was dead. They never saw her again. Janiyah was 11 years old, but just 44 pounds when investigators found her frozen body inside a cardboard box. In their investigation, Bradenton detectives learned that cardboard box once contained luxury king-size Venetian bedding, FedExed to Kishana Thomas from California. It's the bedding Kishana likely slept comfortably in for months while her daughter's body was stuffed in the box it came in. Janiyah Thomas's siblings say they wrote this letter to, quote, tell my sister's story for her because she didn't get to tell it to you, perhaps afraid their mother would get away with murder.
Listen, why do parents feel like if I suffered as a kid, my kids should suffer too? My mama didn't clean up when I was young. I was raised in a nasty house. If I could live through that, my child could live through that too. When I was young, I used to lay in my bed and count the roaches falling from the ceiling. If I could live like that as a child, my child can too. I remember being 8 years old, trying to sleep at night, and rats would bite me on my leg and the bottom of my feet. I remember walking in the kitchen when I was little, seeing maggots all over the trash can because my mom and daddy was too high and drunk to take the trash out. If I could live through that, my child can too. My childhood was a living hell, Eric J. But I made it through. No, you didn't make it through. Mentally, you're still in the same place you was as a child. And in the physical, you're living the exact same way. But listen, it's not your fault. And I feel sorry for you. But what I'm not going to do is give you a free pass to be destructive towards your children just because your parents was destructive towards you. Kishana is a hurt person. And we all know hurt people hurt people. What happy person you know got time to sleep in front of a bathroom just to make sure their 11-year-old daughter don't sneak out? What happy person you know drowned their 11-year-old daughter in a bathtub and then put them in a freezer in the family living room? These are not the actions of a happy person. Kishana is a hurt person. Listen. In the book of Proverbs, the scripture says, rescue those who are being taken away to death. Hold back those who are stumbling to the slaughter. As a community, let's come together and rescue these children. These children are being put to death. As a community, let's come together and stop these children from being slaughtered. I just want to say, thank everybody for tuning in with me, for rocking out with me, for getting through these hard stories. But at the end of the day, is a message behind all of it. Peace.